Okay, hello internet. How's everybody doing? Are we sitting comfortably? Are you sure you're sitting comfortably? Okay. I don't know how else to put this, but the internet has just gone completely crazy in the last sort of 20 minutes. I don't know how else to put it, but I'm just going to say straight away. Right, Star Wars. We all love the original trilogy. Okay, episodes 4, 5 and 6. George Lucas created the franchise back in the 70s and pretty much made something of epic proportion. Then by the late 90s, he then brought out the prequels, which he said he was going to do. So episodes 1, 2 and 3 were released and made. Despite the amount of money that they made, all of those three films, it wasn't well received, particularly because of the introduction of a certain Jar Jar Binks. Then he's done 3D re-releases. He's released the Clone Wars animation. There was even a 3D sort of animated Clone Wars that was released about 2 years ago as well at the cinema, 2 or 3 years ago, I believe. And it has just been announced in the last sort of 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so, that Lucasfilm, aka George Lucas's production company, has been bought by Disney for $4.05 billion. Now, there's speculation as to why this has happened, and as I'm talking to you right now, literally my Twitter feed is just going nuts. I'm seeing updates saying as to how why they decided to buy Lucasfilm, what was the reason behind it for the purchase, for the acquisition. I also believe that the reason why Lucasfilm has been bought by Disney might be something to do with the fact that George Lucas has pretty much had enough. And by had enough, I mean he basically wasn't happy about people ridiculing him for making changes to the original trilogy when they were re-released in the cinemas back in '97. Because I remember when Episode 4 came out, was re-released in the cinemas in '97 for the 20-year anniversary. He added on, obviously, some extras and such, and even in the DVDs for Phantom Menace, again, he added on extras as well. And people, weren't particularly happy with it. And then, as I say, he's done the 3D re-release. Particularly Phantom Menace was the first one that was out earlier this year. And then, we don't know still if Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith will still be coming out in 3D in the next 2 or 3 years. But how does this make me feel as a Star Wars fan? Well, although I'm not a huge obsessed Star Wars fan like I am with Superman, I love Star Wars, and I've got all the films, all 6 of them, and it's just so strange to realise why this has happened. Now, as I said earlier before I delved off, the reason behind why I think George Lucas might have agreed to the sale is because, like I said, he's had enough of Hollywood. He's had enough of being ridiculed by the hardcore Star Wars fans for making the changes and such. But also, I think what tipped him over the edge was when he released his independent movie Red Tails last year. He tried to get some big name studios to back him to invest in the movie. None of them really didn't want anything to do with his movie, so he pretty much paid it out of his own pocket. And after that movie was released, he basically said, he told Hollywood, fuck you, because he pretty much had enough with the way that Hollywood has treated the movies in general. So what are Disney planning? Well, after buying Lucasfilm, they are planning on releasing a new Star Wars film, Episode 7, for 2015. Okay, 2015. They also will be releasing Episodes 8 and 9, and they're looking to release a new film every 2 to 3 years after that. So potentially we could end up with a long list of episodes of Star Wars movie for however long life decides to let that carry out. It's still happening. As I say, Twitter is just going absolutely mad right now, and Google Plus, the entire internet is in absolute furor. take it however you want it. You can be a big fan of it. You could say, yes, I'm looking forward to it because George Lucas screwed up the franchise. But what you've got to remember is George Lucas created Star Wars. If it wasn't for George Lucas, we wouldn't have Star Wars. It's the same reason that if it wasn't for Gene Roddenberry, we wouldn't have Star Trek. If it wasn't for Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel, we wouldn't have Superman. You know, that's how you've got to look at it. So people can turn around and say, well, yes, now George Lucas is not going to be involved, he's not going to screw it up, he's not going to do this, he's not going to make changes. But how do you think Disney are going to treat it? How are they going to treat the iconic characters of Luke, Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Master Yoda, all of them? You know, I know Master Yoda, obviously, he's still alive in spirit, as you already know, through the Force and everything, but I'm just... You know, I was asked by people on Twitter to make the video, so this is why I'm doing it. So I mean, like I said, I'm not a huge buff, but just going as I say, I'm reading through some of the tweets now. You know, someone's asking questions such as, what about the Clone Wars, the live-action series that we were promised as well, that George Lucas has been talking about for the past God knows how many years. Like I said, are we still going to get the 3D re-releases of Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith? It's just going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, also, don't forget, this is, as I say, they want to release Episode 7 to 2015. So that means we'll get the sequel to Avengers, possibly a Justice League movie, and Star Wars Episode 7 in 2015. Can you say epic nerdgasm? Seriously? Can you seriously say epic nerd? I'm just... Oh my god. It's too much to take in. Just, my brain is in absolute overload at this news. Like I say, I do feel that it's more of a personal reason as to why this acquisition has occurred, maybe for George Lucas's part. $4 billion is a lot of money. But again, you know, Disney, I'm sure, will understand the foundation that George has built regarding the characters that he has created, and how are they going to transform that over the next however many years that they plan on making these movies for. Be interesting to see. And of course, obviously, it's all about bringing in the new generation. But really, if you want to bring in the new generation, just get them to watch the original trilogy. It's that simple. That's all you need to do. I mean, you know, I grew up watching Star Wars. The first one I actually watched was Return of the Jedi, and then I sort of went backwards, did Empire Strikes Back, and then obviously A New Hope, and I fell in love with all three of them. And obviously, as everybody will tell you, the best one is Empire Strikes Back. You know, there's no arguments about it. But yeah, I just it's odd, basically. It's not a remake. At least Disney aren't doing a remake. They're going to carry on from what George Lucas has finished off from Episode 6. So it's just a shame that we can't go back in time and clone Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher. That's all I'm saying. But how is that all going to pan out? And are we going to see the return of the likes of Mark, Carrie, and Harrison? You know, will they have cameo appearances? I mean, that would be quite awesome. What's going to be the future of? I mean, okay, there's not going to be Darth Vader, apart from Anakin Skywalker will be in the form of, you know, like the Force, like Master Yoda is, and Qui-Gon Jinn as well. If we carry on from Episode 1. Yeah, I'm just speculating, so I'm not going to delve too much into it, but all I'm going to say is, if you haven't heard the news already, you're living under a rock, get out from under that rock, get on Google, search Disney buys Lucasfilm, you'll see a whole strew of flipping links appear, and then, yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave it there, because, as I say, the internet is just going completely nuts. So, let me know what you think, leave your thoughts. How do you feel about this? Do you think it's a good idea that Disney have bought Lucasfilm? Are you excited about a new Star Wars movie? Do you think it was probably a better idea that George Lucas had not tampered with the original trilogy? I know the answer to that one anyway, and hadn't created the prequels. Again, I will know the answer to that one as well. But by all means, like I say, let yourselves let it be known, and then yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.